This was the source of the leak. This is the pipe under the basin in the bathroom. This was repaired yesterday by a plumber. Bathroom, source of the leak, everything on the floor completely wet through. This is under the sink, paint's peeling, but also back down to the wall, which is wet through. There's been water damage to things left on the table. Papers left on the table have stained the surface. Everything is wet through here. This folder of documents we didn't realise was wet, and picked it up and basically it dropped to bits. Some things on this side are wet as well, but there seems to have been less drip damage underneath the electricity box. On this side of the room you can see that the water has got in onto the wooden joint and again washed silt down, and worryingly there's clearly been water running through the sockets down to the ledge there. The ceiling damage goes right the way across this room, so everything presumably on top of that cupboard is wet through. And this is the electricity cupboard. The electric's been switched off and we've got somebody coming to look at that. This is the rear living room, which was the most severely affected. I'll try and capture as much as I can. There's water stains down the central joint, and above that the wall was wet and blistering. All of the walls were absolutely streaming, and the ceiling damage was particularly bad and continued to drip for 2 days. Subsequently there's a crack appeared right the way along there, and directly above me on the ceiling there. The window frame that links the kitchen to the living room is cracked, paint affected down the side, underneath, all the way along here, cracks, and it's all lifted. Actually on the sill itself you can see that it's the same silt rather than water that's been washed down. The panelling in this back room it's difficult to show, but it's very wavy. It's clearly warped, and this little alcove that's been put in is covered again with the silt, and all the wood and panels are warped. You can perhaps see from this there's mould beginning to develop everywhere. Every bit of panelling is warped. There's this silt which is gathered on the rail all the way around the room. The kitchen was absolutely wet through. There's still condensation on the ceiling. This has been wiped twice now. Same with the windows. All non-absorbent surfaces have been wiped down, but there's water damage in the top corner of the room, again halfway down, and and damage at the bottom there. The door is, I think, slightly warped. It's wet through. It's difficult to lock. We've been unable to use the bottom lock, which is this type of key. Took some forcing to get that undone. The rugs have been moved outside because they were absolutely saturated and not salvageable. The chair is beginning to show signs of mould, and at the back of this you can see that it's not just water, there's like plaster silt that's been washed down. The living room. When we walked in here there was water right the way across the floor from the back of the house right through to the front skirting board. There is ceiling damage, which I'll try and show you. And that's right the way along the wall towards the kitchen, and it goes right the way across to the central beam. There's also water stains on this side of the room from the beam across to the front corner. Everything on the window ledge soaked through. The phones don't work. The BT box was wet through. Everything is just wet through. And the window ledge, the paint is lifting. There's black mould appearing on the inside frame of the door. That's on the inside, and this is on the side where the door closes. In the loft room now, and you can see condensation still on the woodwork, and the beams still wet through. There's water dripped onto everything. Plastic boxes, stuff in plastic bags. But everything in the loft room is wet. Cushions on the chair are wet. At the back of the chair it's beginning to go mouldy. I'm not sure whether you can see that because of the sun. But everything is wet through. Coffee table, the walls, these blankets. Damp has even got into the little cupboard. This is wet. Around the frame of the Velux. It's going mouldy. You can see the dribble marks down the beam. Television up here that's wet through. And everything on the desk or unit is wet as well. Everything here has been dripped on, so books and anything that's absorbent is wet through as well. This is the bedroom, and as you can see water has leaked right the way along the front wall under the window, with mould now showing. You can see that the underlay on the from the carpet has been wet right the way across to the bed. Inside the cupboard, built-in cupboard, there's damp and paint peeling on the walls, still water condensation on the beam there, and down the walls there are water streaks. The window ledge is absolutely waterlogged and warped. More water streaks on the wall near the corner. This is also in the bedroom. This wall backs onto the bathroom and there's water stains along near the skirting board. This is the office. The carpet is absolutely soaking and squelching. This wall backs onto the bathroom and is wet through all the way along there and underneath, right the way, every bit of carpet. The walls were streaming, and this is the window ledge. The windows are still streaming, damage there. The desk and everything on it is wet through, and you can see the water damage there. The walls were streaming and everything on the shelves is wet through where it's leaked through as well. Also in the office there's a shredder and electric plugs under the desk, and this bag was on the floor and the contents of that are wet with mould beginning to grow on the bag itself.